The Hitman games have always given players a vast amount of freedom to kill targets as stealthily or as loudly as they like. So what if I took this freedom to the absolute extreme and completed Hitman 3's hardest stealth challenge, the Silent Assassin suit-only run, without anyone seeing me for even one frame? The rules are simple. Nobody can know an assassin was ever present, I can't change clothes, and this yellow arrow that signifies I'm in someone's line of sight can never appear for a single frame. And since I want this to be about strategy, not brute force, I can't knock out anyone that isn't my target. With the rules out of the way, let's see how this is even possible with our first mission in Dubai. This mission takes place atop a massive skyscraper where I have two targets, Marcus Stuyvesant and Carl Ingram. I naively thought that since I had done this challenge for Hitman 2, I should be prepared for this, but I couldn't be more wrong. Practically none of the strategies I thought of in the last game were useful at all. Immediately, it seemed like even spawning into the very first mission would be completely impossible. If I want to spawn in my suit, I have two options. I either spawn from the skydiving entrance or the regular entrance. The regular entrance is completely impossible as it spawns me directly in front of a woman who never moves, so that's out of the question. And the other entrance spawns me outside the level on a pipe, but since this is supposed to be the tutorial entrance, there is only one doorway to the level, this curtain, which is also being directly watched by this employee, who also doesn't move, and the entire surrounding area is filled with people. This was concerning, but my first thought was that I could toss the coin that can be found in the crawl space through the curtain to distract the employee so I can sneak past. But I soon found out that's not actually a curtain, it's an invisible wall, and I can't throw anything through it. Not distractions, not weapons, nothing. So how is this seemingly impossible start possible? Well, the one thing that does go through this curtain is sound, and I get one item to take with me. By making that one item an explosive ducky, I can detonate it on the other side of the curtain and everyone outside hears it. Anyone who does hear it immediately starts running. Where they run to is completely random, meaning after enough attempts, everyone will run with their back to me and I can quickly sneak past into a nearby elevator shaft, which is how I'll be getting around the rest of the level. I know that nobody saw me, not only because yellow arrows didn't appear, but also because this green symbol in the bottom left didn't change. If it ever turns red, it means someone realized an assassin is present and I have to reset. So congratulations me, I have now gotten out of the spawn of the first level, and it only took an hour of attempts. This is gonna be rough. However, now that I have access to the elevator shaft, I can climb up and sneak my way into the kitchen. This is the most important loot spot in this level, not only because this is where I smuggled my gun, but also it has some very important goodies for later. The reason my gun is so important is because it causes everyone to be suspicious of me when I'm holding it, making sure I'm always following the never being seen rule. I sneak back the way I came and cross a large empty passage to reach the next elevator shaft. I climb up to reach the guard's office, where the next big challenge of this run presents itself. I have a plan, but in order to enact this plan, I need an access card inside of this office, but it's in a safe, and the only door I can access to get inside will shut itself and lock quickly. If I use the crowbar in the office to break it open, everyone will turn and look, so I need to find a way to get in the office, open the safe, and have the door somehow still open when I get back. I tried jamming it with items, but that was no good, so this is where those muffins I stole earlier come into play. By sneaking into the office and lining up a specific throw, I toss a muffin into the room before ducking into the corner. This causes the nearby janitor to go investigate without seeing me. With her gone, I can open the safe, and since these guards uploaded their password to Google for some reason, I already know the code. Now I tuck myself into this corner, and when the janitor returns, she pushes open the door, hiding me from her vision while she goes to work, and I can slink back to my elevator shaft and move on. I traverse some more of the level, using my gun to shoot behind guards when needed to cause them to turn around and head outside to the helipad, where I steal the key to the helicopter, which will be useful for later. I head upstairs to the penthouse my first target Carl is, and finally put my plan into motion. I'm going to eliminate both targets at once by creating a fake emergency, and trick them into skydiving with cut parachutes. I cut the chutes using the kitchen knife that I stole along alongside the muffins, and in order to get them to skydive, I need to activate the emergency alarm, which can be done by swiping 2 keypads with the card I stole from the guards in quick succession. These 2 keypads are on different floors, so I have to choose a very precise time to do this, when every character is looking away from my route simultaneously. Despite there not being too many people here, they all move around a lot, so the window of timing was really tight. After I successfully activated both alarms, both of my targets will run for the helipad, where I'm watching from just out of sight. They can't escape using the helicopter since I stole the key earlier, and they are forced to use the emergency chutes. I just get to sit back and relax as both of my targets run for the emergency exit and take care of themselves by jumping off the building with faulty chutes. I wait for the guards near me to calm down before exiting the mission on the helicopter they thought was completely inaccessible. Having completed the mission without actually needing to have seen my targets at all, I flew to my next mission in Dartmore, and I was starting to feel confident. So confident, I decided to dress more appropriately for the occasion. This mission has me killing an old woman named Alexa Carlisle and stealing a file that I need inside of a European manor. This manor is absolutely covered in different ledges that I can climb on, making it very tedious to complete this mission. So I'm going to speed through this. If you want to see the smaller details of the run, I showed them over on Twitch, where I stream every Thursday. The main challenge for this mission was mostly just getting guards out of the way, since they can occasionally spot me hopping through windows. To do this, I just shoot 3 times at them, causing them to panic and sprint at my location without ever seeing me. As they run towards where the shots came from, I wait on this balcony for my target to walk into the room and then drop a chandelier on top of her, getting me an accident kill before sneaking up to the top of the manor. I had to walk very slowly around the entire length of the mansion to avoid being seen in one tiny spot, and there weren't any fun tricks, so let's skip ahead. I'm in the safe room, and once again, all of these guys seem to be unaware that their sensitive information is on Google. I unlock the safe to steal the file, and now it was time for me to escape. Luckily, it wasn't too difficult. I was able to slide down a ladder and distract a guard and a gardener in order to slip by and walk away on this bridge, having completed the easiest mission in the game. And that bridge led all the way to my next mission in Berlin. My next mission in Berlin definitely wasn't an easy mission, but it was my personal favorite since I had quite a few comments on my last video saying it wouldn't be possible. I can't say I blame you for thinking that, since this is by far the most restrictive map in the game. I have 10 different targets who are all hunting me down in this seedy nightclub, and if I kill 5 of them, I complete the mission. With all of the partygoers everywhere on the map, this level had by far the smallest accessible area. This is an overview of the map. And this was the area that I could access, and most of it was just forest with nothing in it. Plus, there's an entire underground section and a separate building that I can't even get close to with all the people roaming around. So I had to make the very limited space I had count. I spawned in the forest with a sniper rifle, and you may notice that there's a timer at the top of the screen. This is because at exactly 1 minute 17 seconds, one of my targets walks under this tube, and by sniping it, it falls on him, getting me my first kill, which is deemed an accident. I then pop the sniper on my back to make everyone suspicious of me and head towards the only spot on the map that I can reach. Well, technically I can go to a different area without being seen as well, but since I have to travel past a ton of crowd characters that don't show the yellow vision line, I'm not going to allow it. I head towards the canals running through the map, and this little cement area is pretty much all I have to work with, along with this tiny section back here. I shoot a canister of explosive gas to cause it to leak, and one of my other targets will smoke here, netting me another easy kill. And for the final easy kill, one of my targets walks under this bag of bricks which I can shoot, causing it to fall on him. That's 3 out of 5 targets dead without too much trouble, but that should hypothetically be the limit of this spot. I can only see 2 more targets from here. One is on a roof in plain view of other guards, so it's not like I can shoot him or anything, and the other is super far away, also being watched. But the key to this mission is that these targets are different from every other target in all of Hitman. Usually, when you shoot a target, they run away. The only characters that don't are guard characters, and you may have guessed, but this just so happens to be the only map in all of the Hitman games where all of my targets are guards. So, here's what I did. I shot the ceiling above this employee, causing her to think a noise came from above her and leave to check it out, allowing me to shoot 3 times at the target in the sniper's nest, causing him to panic. And since he's a guard, he sprints to my location immediately. And while he sprints to his death, I'm going to quickly tell you about GamerSubs, who have recently become partners of the channel. Bet you thought I was setting up for a VPN sponsorship with that data stuff earlier, huh? GamerSupps sells all kinds of high-quality energy drinks and waifu cups designed for your gaming needs. They have a variety of different flavors, ranging from pina colada to titty milk, and they all taste delicious, with hundreds of reviews to back that up. And they offer caffeine-free versions of every flavor if that's more your thing. Their waifu shaker cups are also super high quality, and all of the designs look amazing. So if that sounds cool, you can use code ONION at checkout or click the link in the description for 10% off your order to help support the channel. And it looks like the guard has arrived. Unfortunately, another guard decided to join him, so I had to wait for them both to calm down and start heading back to the tower they came from. Once they start heading back, I have to hope that my target is behind the other guard. If he is, I can shoot the ground behind him to stall him, giving me just enough time to pop him in the head and dump his body into the sewer system, before that employee from earlier realizes that there was nothing there and comes back. That left me with one final target to figure out. Except, remember when I said I can't just shoot that guy on the roof? I lied. I can shoot him square in the face when he's in this spot, and his body will lie dead on the floor unfound by anybody for the entire duration of the level. I can hang around here as long as I want, and it'll decompose before anyone finds it. But I don't want to hang around that long, so I won't. Instead, I'll sneak through the bushes and steal this bike to make my escape and ride all the way to my next mission in China. In this city, I have two targets completely across the map from each other, named Imogen Royce and Hush. They both work in science labs, with Imogen being underground and Hush being multiple stories up. The only spawn that would work is the balcony spawn, and despite it looking like these guys should be able to see me, I take out my gun the second I spawn in, and no line appears, so I'm in the clear. I tried for a while to get into my target's labs, but I kept being spotted. It seemed the only way I could complete this level was by forcing my targets to come to me. Luckily, this level has a relatively unintuitive way of doing that. There are drones flying above one of the buildings, and they happen to be linked to the pain receptors of my target Imogen, so when I break them, she feels pain and gets upset. Right next to the balcony I spawned at, there's a great vantage point for doing this. By shooting all of them, she will get super upset and accuse my other target of breaking them and send 2 more surveillance drones out. She also sends 2 guards to check out the rooftop I'm shooting from, so I hang onto the side of the building for a while to dodge them. If I then destroy the other 2 surveillance drones she sent out, she will go full Karen mode and demand to speak with the manager, aka my other target Hush. They will have a very serious conversation right next to this canister of leaking gas that I can shoot, killing them both in an explosion and climb down some stairs. I use a nearby crowbar to distract the guards up here and exit the mission just as they start turning around. Turns out that door was actually a portal to my next mission in Mendoza, where the only spawn available is at the shrine, and I feel I may be inappropriately dressed to be praying right now, but anyways, we're going to set a trap. This winery is hosting a large gathering of people, including my 2 targets Tamara Vidal and Don Yates. There's also another person here, my friend Diana, who I cannot harm. The issue with Diana is that she's friends with Tamara and will follow her around constantly. I know she's my friend, but I said I can't let anybody see me for this challenge, and that means her too. This is extremely irritating because it means I can't abuse Tamara's habit of constantly smoking to kill her with a propane flask without at least knocking out Diana too, which is against the rules. After watching her cycle for a while, I discovered there's a brief period of time where she's somewhat separated from a group. As she walks back from checking the guard's monitor, she's distanced from everyone around her. Luckily, I can get pretty close to this room by picking the lock to the door right next to my spawn. This connecting area has very few guards in it, so sneaking past them unseen is a breeze. To set a trap here, I steal a propane flask from this random projector room and toss it where I know she will stand, before tossing a micro taser on top of it, so when I detonate the taser, it blows up the propane, killing Tamara without knocking out or killing anyone nearby, securing the first kill and allowing me to move on to Don Yates, who makes things a bit easier on me. He will always have a conversation with his wife up on the balcony, and despite the cup being on her side of the table, he's the only one who drinks out of it. So by sneaking up the mountain path by my spawn, I can get to his cup without being seen with relative ease due to the lack of guard density in the area. I pretty much just have to wait for them to start turning around. There's no distractions needed. I pop some lethal pills in his wine glass and wait in the grass to watch. I guess the poison 47 uses must mimic a heart attack or something, because they allow me to keep my silent assassin rating. In the previous games, escaping levels was much more difficult, but once again, I could escape with ease by sneaking through a vineyard and just walking away to the final mission. And oh boy, was this one hell of a final mission. This mission takes place on a train that I've been kidnapped on, and if this video releases late, This damn train is the reason. This was by far the most challenging mission I have ever completed. I can't smuggle anything with me, it's covered in guards, I can't even come dressed as a flamingo, and most importantly, after finding a way to sneak past every single guard unseen, which was absolutely awful by the way. For this car, I had to swap my camera angle to get a super precise shot on this guard, causing every single other guard in the car to get super upset and run towards where the shot came from. I then have to pray that RNG is in my favor and they don't turn around as I go through this window and see me, and finally reach the end of the train. And when I did that, I realized the game forces you to watch a cutscene where the player is directly seen by the target. I thought I could just shoot him through the glass, but it's completely invincible. I tried shooting him, I tried blowing him up, I tried everything. It is just not possible. Granted, when you're actually in the game, his character is turned away from you and you can't be seen in the reflection, but that felt like a cop-out. The only way to make this possible was with glitches. Enter the subdue glitch. Now, full disclosure, I did not figure this out on my own. That honor goes to Jotes. Go check him out on YouTube for other cool Hitman stuff because this would not have been possible without his video. To beat this challenge, unfortunately, I have to break my self-imposed rule of not knocking anyone out and knock 2 people out. But it's for a very cool reason. I have to knock out 2 different guards in order to set up this glitch, and a 3rd guard to perform it. Now, you might be thinking, what just happened? And I won't pretend to fully understand this, but essentially by getting into cover and subduing someone during the turning animation at just the right time, the player can get launched a bajillion miles into the air, like 1 out of every 100 or so attempts. I cannot understate how long this took me to get right. Since I didn't know what I was doing, it must have taken around 200 tries to get right. Jotes was even kind enough to respond to my comment asking for advice, and after that I was able to finally figure it out. But it would be lame if I just copied his run, so I came up with my own version with a different guard and a different kill. Instead of subduing someone early in the train, I complete most of the mission until I reach these guards. After clearing out 2 of them by carefully timing when I knock them out, I crank up my graphics settings to make the game run as slowly as possible. Then I perform the subdue glitch on this guard and get launched into the sky. The reason this took so long to do is because I would rarely get enough height, and the times that I did get enough height, the guard would fall all the way into the ground and slam into the train like a rubber ball and bounce off, killing him, resulting in me losing Silent Assassin. I had to hope that the body would bounce and land properly, and I subdued the other guard since they would see the body if it did. Since for some reason having a low frame rate causes you to fall slower, I'm able to safely land on top of the car that has my target in it. I was able to steal some frag grenades earlier in the mission, and I discovered that by tossing a grenade in a very specific spot above him, the explosion can actually kill him through the roof. So finally, the target is dead without seeing me, and I now have to activate the exit by pulling a lever. I was just praying the whole time that the guard wouldn't get found. But with the lever pulled, I can enter the office that contains the exit and finish the mission without ever seeing the forced cutscene, and officially complete Hitman 3 without ever being seen for a single frame. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. I really want to see if it's possible to kill everyone in a level without anyone seeing me for a single frame, so if that ends up being cool, I'll make that soon.